Good morning. Happy Friday, guys. Welcome to this webinar. My name is Diana, and I'm going to explain you today one of our best tools here on REFX, okay? Is the CRM, okay, the real estate CRM that we have there available for you guys. Everything about the follow-up, okay? The follow-up is the CRM that we offer. You can manage your properties there. You will be able to send contracts, contacting anybody, sending emails, text messages, also making calls, receiving any reply. So everything that you want to do or manage will be there inside your follow-up, okay? Excellent. So let's start. As if you have either professional or professional dialer, you have access to that particular tab on the follow-up, okay? So log in into your account, and as soon as you are logged in, you will be here in the control panel. So I'm going to do a simple search. Let's enter here in my main product, REFX Professional Dialer. So I do have the follow-up right here to my left, okay, open or activated. I'm going to do a simple search. So I'm going to find new properties that I want to do something with them inside the follow-up, okay? So I can show you the tools there. Now, let's go to another county. Let's go, for example, Palm Beach, okay? Let's say that in Palm Beach, I want to find properties that are listed for sale, okay? I want to buy a property, I'm an investor, and I want to find properties that are already listed for sale. So I click on that for the data, okay? I change that. I'm also interested in finding, in this case, condo towns and villas. Those are the ones that I want to find. I'm interested for those condos to be foreclosures, okay? So pre-foreclosures, actually. And I want them to be recent cases of foreclosures open, okay? Because again, register, sorry, because we don't have only the cases that are still open. We don't, we have them all. So maybe the recent ones are the cases that are still open. Either way, I need to check that out. So I'm going to go back a few months, let's say since April until now, only the cases that were registered as pre-foreclosures there, okay? Now, because I'm selecting for sale, I have a target. I don't want to find properties that are asking more than what I can buy, of course. So with the listing price, I'm going to select here properties that are between $100,000 up to $400,000, okay? Those are the type of properties that I'm interested. So let's do this search. Let's see if I can find at least, I don't know, a few properties there. I click on search now, upper right, and that will take me to the results. And here I have them. I have in total 14 properties, okay? They are less because it's only from April until now, and they are condos, okay? The majority of those are going to be single families, okay? And in Palm Beach. But here I have them. And these particular 5 right here at the top, okay? They are all green, meaning that they are all active, okay? The ones that are magenta, these ones, okay? They are pending for sale. The ones that are purple are contingent. So these already have an offer that was made and they already accepted. They are still in negotiations. I don't know if the deals are going to go through or not, but I don't want to deal with that. I want the properties that are completely active, okay? Now, these properties right here are the properties that I'm going to add inside my follow-up, and I'm going to do the tasks for them with you guys. So select the properties that you are interested in your results, okay? And then add them into your follow-up. So click right here at the top where it says follow-up. Next, select a type of how do you want to add them. Do you want to buy the properties or selling, or is a prospecting, or are properties that you have listed, okay? In case that you guys are realtors. I'm interested in buying, so I'm going to add them as buying. I click on add properties, and now the properties are there. Any questions, guys? Please let me know. Remember, there is a chat icon here where you can write your questions. I can see them and I can answer and show you whatever you want as well. There is also a Q&A icon on the Zoom, so you can type your questions there or your comments, anything, okay? Please let me know. Okay, the properties are going to be added. It's just a little bit slow. Again, it's my account. It shouldn't be that slow in your account. But again, let me check really quick. So sorry about this. I believe there is a little bit error there because it shouldn't take that long. It really shouldn't. So I'm talking right now with the programmers to see if there is something that is being done that, I don't know, is affecting that. Okay, there it goes. Sorry. Thank you for your patience. So properties were successfully added. And actually there is a little error, as you can see. If anybody is having this same issue, please let me know. And that way I can report it as well, okay? Because as you can see, I selected 5 properties, but only 4 were added. Okay, let me try one more time, guys. I already reboot my computer, so okay, my system from inside. Okay, I'm going to add them again as mine. Property number 1 should be already there as well. There it goes. Okay, now it's working. Thank you. So my properties were added. Again, you just select the properties from the results. You click on the follow-up icon at the top, selecting the type of how you want to add the properties inside your follow-up, and then you will have them there. So let's go to our left to the follow-up. And now the properties are going to be right here. So you can see them. Property 1 to 5, November 5th. Those are the properties that I added here inside my follow-up, okay? Now, in the follow-up, as you can see, you have a lot of tools right here at the top. So let's go right to those. First of all, you have the views, okay? The different views in your follow-up. As soon as you enter the follow-up, you will be in your following tab right here, okay? And this will be the grid view. It's where you can see everything organized under columns, okay? Inside the grid view. Next, if you go to the detail view right here, upper right, then you can see the properties organized like this in these little folders, okay? These are the properties inside your follow-up. In any view, you can organize, in these 2 views, you can organize to see up to 250 properties per page. So that way you guys will have less pages to go over, okay? I had 8 pages, now I have 2, okay? Now, if we go to the map view, I can see where in the map are all the properties that I have in my follow-up, okay? It might take a while also if you have added here in your follow-up properties from different counties, okay? So it might take a while to actually load the full view for those 200 properties in my follow-up. But again, let's wait. It should be there soon. Okay, so there you can see it, okay? I added a lot of properties are in Florida, okay, or in different counties. And I also have a few properties right there for New Jersey, okay? Remember that in REFX, we have properties, or you can find and do searches in Florida, Maryland, New Jersey, and California, okay? Those are, California, no, Massachusetts, okay? So Florida, Maryland, New Jersey, and Massachusetts. Those are the 4 states that you have access if you guys have the all county access, okay? So those are the first view that you can see there. Now, in the follow-up or in the following, okay, is where you can do this task right here. First of all, check the legend anytime that you want to. You will have two types of legends here. The legends are the definitions for the status of the properties. So you can check the follow-up status or the property status. The property status was the one that I mentioned you guys. If it's green, it's active. If it's purple, it's contingent. If it's orange, it's for sale by owner. Dark blue will be new constructions. Magenta will be pending. Light blue will be by owner, and properties that are brown are going to be closed sales, okay? Those are the status, the colors inside the circles. Then, because you added the properties inside your follow-up, you assign a letter, okay? And that will be the status of those. So the legend for the follow-up, B is if you selected as buying, S if you selected as selling, P if you selected as prospecting, and L for listing. And again, the colors will be there, letting you know what is the status of those properties. Here in your follow-up, you will have changed the brown color. It doesn't mean that the properties were closed sales anymore. In the follow-up, it means that the properties are expired. And you guys can see this only if you are realtors yourself, okay? And then if a property was sold after you have added inside your CRM, it will change into red, letting you know that red is because the property was already sold, okay? So there you have it. Those are the status or the definitions of the status. Now, in the grid view where we are, the system will always open in the default template, okay? This template contains only these columns that you can see here. So you can see the date. This is the date that you added the properties. Then you can see the property address, the zip code, the days on the market, okay, if they have any, if they are listed for sale. For example, you can see this as a new listing. It has only 1 day on the market, 3 days, 4 days, and these are all listings, okay? Then you can see the foreclosure status. If it says P, it's because they are pre-foreclosure. If it says no, they don't have any kind of status. But if it says F, it's because they were already foreclosed, okay? Like bank on or auction. So in this case, remember the search that I did was for pre-foreclosure. So all of them are telling me that they are P for pre-foreclosure. Next, I can see right here the column for the contact of these properties, okay? Next, I will have the offer percentage that I can assign when I calculate the offers. We will do this in a few moments. If the properties are listed, like these ones, green properties, okay, they will give me right here directly the listing price, what they are asking for the sales of those properties. The offers are the ones that I'm going to calculate as well. Next, you can see the counter offer. This is only for you to have like something to know. Let's say that I send a contract to this and they reply saying, look, your offer is too low. We are not accepting offers for, I don't know, less than this, okay? Less than, for example, 120. So I can put here in my counter offer 120, okay? And that way I know that they don't accept offers for less than that, okay? I can see it right there in my follow-up. Next, this is the LU. LU means the days of last insert history, meaning how many days have happened since the, since the last time that I did something with these properties, okay? So for example, all of these say 0 because I just added, okay, here. But then you can see that these 3, I managed them yesterday. I haven't even done anything with this property in 4 days, and I haven't done anything with these properties in 7 days, okay? So this is a way for me to know which are the follow-ups that I need to do. And whenever you want, you can always filter. I will show you that as well. And here at the end, you have these green circles, okay? Whenever you send the documents, the contracts through the system, okay? And if you send a contract with any addendums or additional documents, the circles are going to be checked inside, okay? Letting you know if you have sent for any property a contract with a proof of fund, with an earnest money deposit, or with any addendums, okay? Now, let's say again that they reply. And they reply telling me, hey, we are not interested in offers lower than 120K. So I can check myself manually this last circle for offer received, okay? They receive my offer. I know that the email is good. They receive my offer, and I can put a little note that the contract offer is for that amount, okay? And I check manually that the offer was received. It hasn't been, what is it called? Approved or, I don't know, agreed, but if there were, then I can put that detail note there, and that's it, and save it, okay? And that way you will see the check right there. And if I go then to the follow history of that property, you will see the note that I just created as well, okay? How can I go to the follow history? You click on the property address one time, and then click where it says go to follow history. And right there, you can see it, what I have done today. So today at this time, remember I changed the contract offer for this, and then I check manually that the offer was received with this little note right here, okay? That will be the follow history of this particular property only. To go back, you will use this arrow and not the arrow in your browser, okay? So let's go back. There it goes. There is the check. The last column that the default template will show you guys is the priority. By default, it will be in medium priority, okay? But if you want to apply to anybody a high priority, just change it. One click, change it. And this is also will let you decide, okay? Let's say that you want to see from all the properties in your follow-up, okay? My 373 properties, the ones that are selected already as high priority. You guys are going to be able to filter by that priority, the same way that you will filter for the offers, or I don't know, the contacts, the last time that you contacted a property, if you have sent contracts and everything, okay? So that is what the default template will show you. Remember that here, you can always also organize the properties 250 per page. Right there, you have an open book icon. This is the grid template. If you want to see a different view than the default template, you can either change it if you already have different templates created, or create a new template. So you click right there. In my account, guys, I already have a lot of templates created, you see? I have one where I can see the full owner info, or the probate for sale info, or anything, okay? Anything that you want, just create your templates. We have tutorials about how to do this. It's really simple. And you can just have all the templates that you want here. I'm going to show you the other default views, okay? The one that I already showed you is this. But if you want to see the financial view, just click on it and load. And then behind, the view has changed, so you know what is the financial status of these properties, okay? So if it says no, it's because they are not in any kind of financial status. So no short sales, at least no short sale registers, okay? Because the agent might say that, yes, they are in short sale, but it's not registered yet, okay? There you can see, for example, different type of financial status for all the properties in your follow-up, if you have any, okay? So let's scroll up. The other view, or the other default view, will be the status view. Click on it and load, and the status view will let you know exactly what is the definition right there of the green colors. You see, that is alternative status is active. But this is something that you can change if you want to, okay? Because it's alternative status. So let's say that I already called everybody here and they let me know something very specific about the property that I want to see right there in a column, okay? You can change the alternative status by clicking right here on the update icon, okay? And update alternative status. Let's say that I want to create a new status. I click on new, okay? And you can put like, I don't know, I'm going to put test webinar. And click on OK. I created the status. Now I'm going to assign that particular status, okay? Oh, I have two. I have created one before. So I click on save and that's it. Those alternative status are changing now. It's not going to say active anymore. It's going to say test webinar, okay? As you can see right there. And again, whenever you want to filter for the alternative status that have test webinar, you guys are going to be able to do it, okay? So those are the 3 default views that the follow-up offers, and it offers the ability for you to create your own templates. Any question, guys? Let me know, please. Let me open the chat. I don't see any questions yet. Okay, so let's continue. I'm going to change again to the default template view. I like to work with that one because, I don't know, for me it has like everything that I might want to see, okay? It's not updating for any reason. I don't know if my account is weird today or if the system that is weird today. Let me refresh. Okay, I just refresh, there it goes, okay? The default template view is right there. So let's start doing something with these properties. Let's say that the first thing that I want to do is contact, I don't know, it could be the agents because again, these properties are active for sale. But if you have here properties that are not active for sale, then you guys need to contact the owners, okay, or relative or personal representative of the properties that you want to see, okay, want to contact. So check the contacts and check the contact information first. Ileana, she's the agent, okay, agent of that particular owner, okay, the property. So you can see that the owner is an LLC. I will need to contact her through her email and through her phone because for LLC, we don't have contact information and we cannot skip trace any LLC, corporations, groups, okay, incs, we cannot. Only individual owners are the ones that you can skip trace through the professional dialer, okay? She's also the owner of the second property right there, okay? Remember, I did a search for Condo Townsend Villa, so they are nearby. I will contact her. Let's go to the next one. John, he is also the agent for Lori, okay? That is the owner. But if I want to contact, let's say that this property is not listed with an agent, that John is not here. So I will have Lori only, okay? I need to skip trace her so I can find her email and her phone numbers because I don't have them, you see? They don't come with the public record information, maybe only one phone number and maybe that number might be disconnected, okay? That's why you need to have a tool as an skip trace, okay? Next, we have Joseph, he's the agent. Richard is the owner, no information there. And Timothy is the agent, and Luis and Richie are the owners. I have a question, let me see. How do you filter by listings that fail on the MLS? Fail, do you mean that properties that weren't sold, like expired properties? If you are an agent yourself, you have the option in your search area right here. Let me go back really quick. In your search tab, again, you need to be an agent and you need to tell us your license number so that way we can activate the permission if your license is active. And then you go right here, expire, you select expire, yes, you can select since when they expire. And of course you can select that they are not relisted, okay? If that is what you mean, this is how you can do it. So you will select expired, yes, a date. You will select that they are not listed for sale again, okay? And those are the properties that we consider have failed, like in their attempt to sell the property, But we don't have, careful with that, because we don't have the information from the MLS. We are two different systems. They have different status. We have different status. We have properties listed and properties that have expired and properties that are not listed anymore, okay? But that is how you will do it, Lasagna. Let me go back then to the follow-up. I hope that answered your questions, okay? Let's continue. Now, I was telling you that if you guys want to contact the owners, okay, you need to skip trace them if you don't have their emails or their phones. So through the dialer, you can select the properties inside your follow-up following, then click right here on this little person icon, okay, and click on skip trace. Contacts, skip trace. I'm only selecting these three because remember that the owners for these two was an LLC. So it's not going to work even if I try, okay? It's going to take a few minutes while it's trying to get all the information. Meanwhile, we can do anything else. Let's try to calculate the offers, okay, of those properties that I want to send contracts. As you can see, you have there the listing prices. Let's say that I want to send them an offer with a particular percentage of that listing price. So you guys, all of you have this calculator icon right there at the top, okay? It says 3 properties were successfully skip trace. We are going to check that in a few seconds, okay? So you click on the calculator offer right there at the top, okay? Click on one time, and then select whatever is going to be your factor. Let's say that you want to send, I don't know, 50% of what they are asking as your offer, or 90, or 70, or 85, whatever is what you guys want to send, okay? It's up to you. I'm going to select 75%. I'm going to select to round those amounts so I don't have any decimals, okay? I will have complete amounts. And click on apply, and that's it. The offers are going to be calculated. There it goes, okay? On the offer column, you can see 75% of this is this for each property that I calculated, okay? Any questions? You're welcome, Latanya. Any question, guys, about how you can use the calculator offer? It's very simple. It's only going to take in consideration the listing price of a property, okay? You, or the ones of you that are mentor students from DRIA, you have this other icon that we call Freddy, okay? Is the investor offer. So with Freddy, you can calculate taking under considerations the comparables and something else that particular formula use, okay? So if you calculate that with Freddy, and let's say again here that I'm going to put my factor as 80%, it's not going to be 80% exact, okay? Because Freddy, again, will take something else under consideration and not only the amount on the listing price. You can just check here or select whatever DRIA tells you or suggests you guys to do, and then click on apply. Once you use Freddy, the offers, again, are going to be calculated automatically and changed there, so you guys are ready to send your contracts, emails, or whatever you want to send. There it goes, as you can see. Property number 1, Freddy tells me to send 79% of the listing price. For these two, 80. For this one, 67. And for this one, 46, okay? But again, it will be up to you to actually send the offers. So you need to be aware if you are sending a really like low ball, okay, offer, anything, the replies that you might get, okay? So be aware of that. Next, let's try to send the contracts. So all of these are agents. I do have the agents' emails. But if I want to send, for example, for the last 3 to the owners as well, okay? Or only to the owners in case that I don't have agents, then if I have a skip trace and the skip trace has bring me the owner information, then I can do it. For Lori, it didn't work. As you can see, we don't have a new contact and we don't have new information there either, okay? So I need to contact John in this case. It's not 100% of the time that the skip trace will actually work. It will work if we can find anything about these owners. Next one, Remember, Richard, we only have this contact right here with no information. But now I do have Richard right here, that is the owner, with all of his emails, the ones that we can trace, okay? And all of his phone numbers. I also have Josephine, she's a relative, emails and phone numbers. And I have Victor, he is also a relative with phone numbers, no emails. If I want to contact Richard instead of the agent, or if I don't have an agent and I only have the owner, make sure to put the star, okay, on the principal contact, okay, from your list, the one that you are sending the contracts to, okay? When you send a bulk of contracts, you can then select to send it to all the emails that anybody has, or all the owner emails, okay? Or only the first email that they have here on the list, okay? It's up to you. I will show you how. Now, let's close this, and that is how it works. Let's check really quick the last one. I had here a Luis and Richie, and now you can see it, Richie here only, no Luis, okay? Richie with his phone numbers, and Roger, he's a relative, he has emails, okay, and phone numbers. But again, I'm going to contact the agent in this case. Now, I want to send the offers, okay, with my right paperwork in a contract. So you guys will click right here on this plain icon if you see it. If you don't see it, it's because your resolution is really big. So you can see all these icons right there at the top, okay? So click then on the icon that it says send docs. You will have already, you will need to have already your contracts all uploaded, created the templates for them. That was the webinar last week. If you need help with that, you can check that webinar. Now, right here, open the drop-down list, select whatever is the contract that you want to send. Remember that if you guys are from BRIA, BRIA gives you 4 types of different contracts. And if you guys are from DRIA, you will have here 7 contracts that you can use, okay? That's it. Select whatever is the contract that you want to use. Select also the documents, additional documents that you want to send as a lead-based spend disclosure, a proof of fund, or earnest money deposit. Change or edit anything here about the additional info for initial deposit, additional deposit days, inspection days, the acceptance date, the closing date. Your buyer information was already set up as mine in my account. And also your escrow should be there if you already have saved that information in your settings, okay? I'm not going to send these contracts, but I'm going to preview for you one of them so you can see it, because you haven't seen it before, okay? Let's check it out. So preview, select one and click on preview again. It will open a new tab in your browser, there it goes, where you can see how the contract will be a PDF file attached in your emails, okay? So there it goes, okay? This is the offer that I'm sending to Richard, okay? There is me, the information of the property. So everything has been auto-populated, as you can see. My escrow information is there, even my initials, my signature, everything that I want. This contract is an as-is, FAR bar, okay, in Florida. It has 12 pages. So let me scroll down. This is page 11. I am sending the lead-based spend disclosure. So that's why I have here a check. My additional terms are there. My signature, the day that I'm sending the contract, everything is there. This is the last page of the contract. But because I'm sending the contract with additional documents, if I scroll down, then you can see the addendum for the lead-based spend disclosure. You guys can see my letter for my proof of funds, okay? My bank statement is also there, or the bank statement that DRIA provides, okay? This one is provided by DRIA, by David Inco. And the letter from the escrow title or my title company, okay? Created Title Services is right there, letting me know the escrow information. So that is how you can also send the contracts and preview. I have another question, let me check. How do we integrate our email address in REFX? We have a video about that, Latanya. So let me send you the steps to your email as soon as I finish the webinar. And that way you can have it, okay? You can see the video at the end, and that way you will synchronize in your settings your email with your ReaFax account, so you can start sending emails, contracts, whatever you need. Now, if you guys want to send this by email, just click right there where it says email. You will see your template or the template default that we provide, and then just click right here at the bottom, send documents, and that's it. 5 emails are going to be sent because I selected 5 properties, 1 for each owner or person, okay? Let me go back really quick so I can show you something. Whenever you click on send email, oops, send email, now from here, sorry. Whenever you click on send email, okay, if you are sending an email is when you can select to send the email to all the contacts, to all the agents' emails, to all the owners' emails, or to everybody, like owners and relative emails, okay? So it will be up to you to select who are you sending one email. When you are sending the contracts, unfortunately, you are not sending that to everybody or to all the emails. You are only sending it to the first email that the default contact has there in their accounts, okay? If they have several emails, it will only take the first one in their accounts. Now, if you guys have the dialer, you also have the ability to make calls. If you are contacting owners, maybe it's better to call the owner first, check with them if they might be interested in selling their properties, try to convince them a little bit that you just want to send them an offer so they can analyze. If they like it, then they can reply. If they don't, then they don't. That's it. But you can have the ability to do or make unlimited calls through the professional dialer in ReaFax, okay? So click on call. I'm going to show you really quick. Call and select Plibo because that is the phone line that we set up for you guys. Whatever is the number that you want to have as the caller ID, so that is the number that the people you are contacting is seeing from you, it will be there, okay? Now I'm going to contact all the principal contacts. You can also select to contact, I don't know, the owners, the sellers, the relative, depending on who you want to contact, or the agents, it's up to you. And click on make call. Now, it's ringing right there. I'm going, oops, they answer actually. I'm going to hang up because I don't want they to answer my call. But she answers right away. So if the first contact has only one particularly, like one phone number, the call will start ringing right away. But if they have several, like John, for example, if I click on John, it's not ringing, okay, it's not doing anything because it's going to let me decide which is the number that I want to dial. If I click here, it's going to start dialing that number. Again, I'm going to hang up. So right here you have your time, so you know if the call is going on. The keypad is right there. You can hang up the calls right there. You can go to the next number or even to the next property, okay, directly with these tools, or just click on the property that you want to call, okay? As soon as you have made a call, you will see that the one that you already have made and closed, okay, or hang up. In this case, this one. You can put any notes about the conversation. Let's say that I call and I left a voicemail, okay? Or any particular notes of the conversation. You can do it right there. You can see the listing price, if the property have any, or the offer that you have already calculated in your follow-up, if you did it already. If you are speaking with them, with John, and you don't remember why you are calling, we have created for you here a script, just a simple script, but you can always create your own script templates, okay? Right there in your account, so you just select the script or the guideline that you want to see while you are calling. If you want to see the property while you have John on the phone, just click on overview. It will take you there and, oh my God, John, I'm calling you because I'm interested in this property. It's your listed property. You need, there you have it. I'm seeing the foreclosure, but I want to visit, whatever you want to say. You are speaking with John, seeing the information, and the call is right there where it says Plibo to your left. When you finish, just go back again in this little arrow, and you will see the notes of the conversations or anything that you have left there. For example, let's go here to the address, okay, for that property. Go to follow history. Today, at this time, I made a call to John and I left a voicemail. The little note is there. So this is your memory. You will see everything that you have done. So all of the tools are right there. Now, let's say that I contacted these 5 properties and Ileana, okay, this one, her, Cohen, she replied to me saying, hey, we are not interested in your offer, sorry, okay, nothing. So I'm not interested in continue like sending offers to her about these 2 properties. Instead of deleting the properties from your follow-up, it's better for you to block the properties, okay? If I block the properties, let me do it. Whenever I do the search again, you can see that now I don't see it here. But whenever I go back and do the same search that we were doing before, and let me try to do it really quick. I know that it was Palm Beach County. Condos that were for sale, that were pre-foreclosures from July until now. Sorry, April until now. And properties that were listed between $100,000 up to $400,000. That was the search that I did. And I added the first property. There you have them, you see? So whenever you do the same search again, you will see the properties that you have blocked. And that way you know that you already have contacted, reviewed, done something with them, and you just don't want to contact them anymore. If you don't do that, then you will see only blank spaces here. And you might want to add the properties again, do the same review again, send a new contract and be rejected or just discard that property for any reason, okay? So saving time is better if you block the properties in your follow-up. Whenever you guys have deleted or blocked, you can also restore the properties back into the following. So if you want to restore, I'm going to go to the block properties. You can see it right there, the 2 properties that I blocked today. Click at the top upper right on restore. The properties are going to be back then into my following. They are not here anymore. Oh, they are. One is there, sorry. It's not working as it should. Maybe it's because my system is slow, I don't know. If it happens to you at any moment, let us know so we can open a ticket and our programmers team will resolve that as soon as possible, okay? So it is restoring. You just go back to the following and refresh right there, and the properties should be added there, okay? There it is. It was added, it just stay there in restoring. That's it. If you want to export the information that you are seeing in your account to your computer, remember please that there is a limit. You can only download or export 5,000 records monthly, okay? And for that, it's always better that you create your own template first, okay? Because if you select to export an Excel file or a PDF file, you need to see on display whatever you want that Excel to contain, okay? So if you want to see, for example, the owner information, and that is only what you want to see right there, okay? So create a template that has all the columns that you want to download. And then click on export to an Excel or a CSV or a PDF file, okay? The Excel one is the one that works better if you guys have an Excel reader, of course. Next, you can filter, okay? Let me go back again to the default template. If it loads, there it goes. The filter. In the follow-up, you have several options, guys. You can filter for the address of a property, okay? Any address. For example, let's say that I want to find address filter. I know that the address is like this. You don't need to put the full address, only the number of the house, and that's it. There it goes, you see? It's looking for the address that I don't know what happened. Let me filter. There it goes. My computer is acting up. Sorry, guys. Let me refresh again really quick. Just stay there like frozen. It might be the system, but I cannot tell right now until I finish the webinar. There we are again. Let's say that I want to find one particular address, okay? Let's try with another one. I filtered and I want to find an address that I know that I have here is this one. So with the address, filter, and then you will find it right away, okay? You can always filter by the name of the contact. If you know that one person, his name is John, well, very common, okay? Or actually, let's try with the one that has like a long name, Ileana. So there is the contact and filter. And then you will find the properties, okay, the contacts that were with that name, okay? If it works. Maybe I write it incorrect. Let's try with John. Filter. There it is, okay? All the Johns, okay? There are the default contacts of that property. You can find them. You can find properties that you added with a specific type. Remember the letters inside the circles? B for buying, S for selling, P for prospecting or listing, okay? A folio number, you can filter the properties in your follow-up by state, by county, city, and even the property type. If you are only want to see the ones that you added as condo, okay, today, you can do that. Let's remove John off there, and then you will see all the ones that are condos in your follow-up. A simple filter. There you have it. You can always filter by the status of the property, not the type of the follow-up, but the status. Active, active by owner only, like off market, contingent, new construction, pending, non-active or not for sale, sold or expired, okay? Those are the status. Remember the alternative status that I created? You can filter only by that. Let's say that I want to see the ones that have a particular status as test webinar, okay? Let me remove this. I guess that I can, nope, I cannot. Let me reset. And let me find now the alternative status in my account that I selected as test webinar. Oh, it was the other one. So bad. This one. There it goes, okay? The 5 properties that I added today that I put an alternative status of test webinar. Okay, you have also the options to filter by the properties that you have already sent contracts or done anything, it will be there, right here at the bottom, okay? If you want to see the ones that you have sent contracts or the ones that you haven't sent contracts, if you want to filter for the ones that have high priority or low priority or medium priority, any options right there. If you want to find the properties that you added in a specific day, like for example, last Friday, you added some properties here and you don't know where they are and you just want to see those. So equal and select with the calendar, for example, last Friday, and just filter by that, okay? If you have created custom fields, you guys will be able to filter also by the custom fields. We have explained this in previous webinars whenever we explain about the templates. So those are the filter options. The contacts, the skip trace, I already show you how to work with that. The get contacts icon is really simple, is to update the agent information of a property if there is any to update, okay? The social media report comes with the professional dialer and the skip trace. This is for you to download the information that you have skip trace, okay? And the options there are to download in an Excel file the owner emails or the owner cell phones or both files at the same time. Or at the same time for owners and relative emails and owners and relative cell phones or both files at the same time, okay? It's up to you. If you guys, let's say that I did send the contracts today, okay? We did send them the 5 contracts with my 5 offers. And I want to contact them again next week, but I'm going to be really busy. I want to contact them maybe next Monday or next Tuesday. but I cannot do it myself. So you can schedule here in your account your tasks, and the system, if you select automatic, the system will do it for you. So you have a list of tasks that you can schedule there, or manual tasks as well, okay? It's up to you to decide. And for example, I want to send an email next week, next Tuesday, to these 5 properties. So I'm going to select next Tuesday. I want to send that at 10 a.m. next Tuesday. And I'm going to put here that this is a follow-up that I'm going to do with them, or even a first follow-up. So I know why I'm sending these emails, okay? Remember, let's say I did send the contracts today. So this is my first follow-up, like, hey, did you receive my offer? So next, click on create right here. This is not the email that I want to use. This is the email that I use whenever I send my templates, okay? So click on manage template right there. Next, click on the follow-up email, or the template that you use for your follow-ups, okay? In this case, this is mine. This is the template that I created that say, did you receive my offer? I sent you an offer a few days ago, please reply and create the task. That's it. I don't need to do anything. Regardless if I connected or not, next Tuesday at 10 a.m., the system will send these emails for me, okay? And you can see here the pending tasks that you have. If you go to your task tab right there and you see your pending tasks and you want to delete them, they are going to be gone from here. And also whenever you refresh right there in your follow-up, they are gone as well. The deal generator tool is really simple. If you want to add these properties into your follow-up in your deal generator account, just click on add, and you will see right there under this column, these little signs. Then you need to log in into your deal generator and see the properties that you have added from REFAX to there, okay, in your follow-up. That is, oh, the last thing is the mailing campaign. If you guys want to add the mailings, okay, sorry, these properties into a mailing campaign, remember that with us, you can send postcards or even create your own letters, print them and send those letters yourself, okay? It's up to you. So add the properties into a mailing, creating a new mailing, or just add them into another mailing that you already have there, okay? I'm going to put a new one. My name, add properties. They are successfully added into my mailing campaign. If I refresh, you will see under the M for mailing, the little mailboxes, letting you know which properties you have already added as well into a mailing campaign. Thank you for having me, guys. So sorry about the little glitches and bugs that we presented today. Let us know if you have any. Also, let us know if you need to have one-on-one trainings about the system. Remember, those are free online, like about an hour. Contact us through the chat with questions, with the requests. Just say, hello, I have a question. I need help. I don't know how to do this. We will answer there, okay? You can minimize the chat there. This webinar is going to be in our YouTube channel today as well, okay? So you can check it out there. Just click on YouTube from the homepage, or you can go here to webinars and see it there. Inside your account, you can go here to the greenhouse and check the webinars on the control panel. I have one question. You're welcome, Esther. Thank you. Thank you, guys. If you have questions, just contact us back through the chat, okay? Thank you. I don't see any more chat here, so have a great weekend, guys. Oh, sorry, I have a question. Miss Castillo, no, my name is Diana Lopez. I had a class with you last week. Okay, Carlos, I contacted you yesterday about the coaching that you requested for today at 10 a.m. We sent you an email. Please reply the email, and that way we can schedule the new training. Thank you. You're welcome, Sonia. You're welcome, guys. Please have the greatest weekend. Take care. Enjoy your family. Enjoy. And see you back on Monday, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.